So today at Highland Camper Vans, we've got the handover for the Bailey Adamo 694. With the cab set up at the front, you've got your fuel filler cap. This has got a direct fill system on it, so there's no locking cap on it. This is locked off when the central locking is activated, and then just below that you've got your AdBlue section just there. When we come round to the front of the vehicle, to unlock the bonnet, you have to put the ignition key in, turn it left, and then turn it right, and that enables you to release the mechanism like so. The engine battery is located underneath the driver's seat, so if you ever need to jump start the vehicle, then you would be locking onto the positive section onto there, and then down onto the engine lift bracket for the negative. You've got your screen wash, your brake fluid, your oil filler, and your dipstick all located down there, and then the radiator is over on this side, just there. When we come round to the driver's side, you've got the exhaust for the blown air heating system for the water heater from Truma. You'll see a little bit of condensation coming on off of it at the moment because we've got it on gas. That's quite normal. Further back, we've got your gas locker, and that's got a propane cylinder into it. Make sure that the gas supply is turned on and off at the bottle. There is on the underside of this one a crash sensor. So push and hold in on the little black cap for 3 seconds or so once you've turned the gas on, and that then releases the gas into the rest of the vehicle. Further back underneath this marker light just here, you've got the release valve for your grey water tank. So if you pull the slider towards you, this one's out at the moment, it allows the wastewater to be discharged. Previous owner has put an extension pipe on it, which it comes out of the back of the vehicle rather than directly from underneath. Push it back in, and that will stop any wastewater from coming out. Unlock your garage door on the driver's side, and it gives you access into the back of the van. Previous owners left some wedges in there. These are the boards for the double bed, which drops down from the ceiling, mains lead. We'll talk about the water system a little bit later on. Finally, on the outside of the vehicle, we have our mains hookup. I always recommend that you connect to the side of the van first of all before you connect to the main supply. Lock it in, and you're ready to go. So this is your mains RCD box, which is located in the front of this van behind the passenger seat. At the moment, all of the RCD switches are down and switched off. Having connected to the mains, you could do a mains test, and that would identify that the main supply is coming into the van is safe for you to use, and then bring up all of your main switches, which connect up to the water heater, your power socket, and your shower. Directly below that, you've got a bank of 12-volt fuses for the internal operation of the van. Adjacent to your mains RCD box is your leisure battery, which receives a charge when you're connected to the main supply, and via relay a charge when the vehicle is being driven. Underneath the cooker, you have some individual isolation taps for the appliances that are around the van. Currently, they're in the horizontal position, which is allowing the gas flow to go through. For testing, we can turn them off and isolate them. If you have concerns about the gas supply, then you can also isolate those individual units yourself. In the corner of the kitchen, just before you get to the step for the bathroom, is a little access flap. And below here is your access for your grey water tank. There's no direct access to the drain valve, but if you want to put in solvents or cleaners for sterilising or cleaning out the tank or checking for obstructions, then you can access the tank at that point. For the purposes of winter storage, it's important that you make sure that the water heater is drained out. So there is a yellow valve lying adjacent to the water heater in this van. It's currently in the horizontal position, so it's allowing the water to flow to the appliance. When you're recommissioning the van, you need to make sure that you have drawn water through your kitchen taps, through your vanity unit, and through the shower to get that continuity of supply before you use the water heater. For winter storage, you pull the yellow tab up to the vertical position, and it allows the content of the water heater to drain out. Leave your interior taps open, and you should get a free drain through the system. The Truma water heater room heating system is a common unit amongst manufacturers. For its operation, depress in on the central black button and you'll see a clock display come up. Currently we're plugged in onto the mains, so you'll see this symbol occur here. Press on the dial again and you'll see a selection of characters come across the top, and you'll see that this one, the thermostat inside a vehicle, is showing flashing. To press on that one, and you have the option of setting your temperature control up to a maximum of 30 degrees centigrade. Whilst it's trying to attain that temperature, this top symbol up here will also flash as well. Once it becomes solid, then it's an indication that it's reached that threshold. It's a similar story with the water heating system. So we go on to that thermostat symbol that's showing in the water ripples. Depress on that one and you have a choice of water heating settings. It can be put into an eco mode, which is about approximately 40 degrees centigrade, or it can be put into a hot mode, 60 degrees, perhaps if you were taking a shower. You have the option of boosting the temperature periodically if that's required. Again, when you select that, you'll notice that the hot symbol on the top line starts to flash, indicating that the water hasn't reached that temperature setting as yet. Once that becomes solid, then you're there. You have a choice of utilities that you can access on this. This is the gas version, so the first one that will come up will be on there. If you're operating it on diesel, then it will use the word fuel instead. If you select on gas, then you're operating purely on a gas system, a 12-volt igniter, a 12-volt circulation fan, perhaps if the heating is being used, but otherwise it's a pure gas setup. You can change that setting to an electrical setup. Single spark at the top indicates that you're using a 900-watt electric element. Twin spark indicates that you're using approximately an 1800 watt electric element. That's going to be subject to the amount of amperage that's available for you to use on a campsite. There is a mix mode as well, where you can choose to use a combination of gas and electric, either on the lower electric setting or on the higher electric setting. It won't make the vehicle get any hotter, but it will obviously improve the performance and the rate that the vehicle gets warmer. There's a circulation fan. It's normally set in the eco mode, but again, if it's a cold day, you can increase it to a high mode and it will intensify the air circulation within the van. If we turn off the water heating and we turn off the room heating system, then you can come back over to the fan symbol on its own and you can actually use it just as a pure recirculation fan. It's not air conditioning, but it may be in conjunction with the roof lights or the windows being open. It'll improve the air circulation around the vehicle. You can speed control it by turning the dial up and down, and then switch it back off by turning it off. Clock setting, simple and straightforward. Access it, set it to the day, time, modes, and that's your clock set. If you use that setting, then you can also then set up a rudimentary timer. So tomorrow at 8 o'clock in the morning and going off at 8 o'clock at night, you can have your room heating system set up so that it cuts in at 18 degrees and your water heater coming in on its electric mode and the fan running in that setup, and then select on, and you'll see that symbol then. So all the time that it's within that time frame against the clock, you will have it operating in those modes. If you want to deselect it, just turn it off and you'll see that the symbols all disappear. Settings mode enables you to set up temperatures, the brightness of the control panel. You can also do resets on the panel as well. If you're not using the system, then press and hold on this one and you'll see an off word appear and it will system shut down. If there are any faults with the system, perhaps because the gas isn't switched on or the electric's not operational, you'll quite often see a triangle and a fault code. Follow your instruction manuals for that fault code to diagnose and perhaps clear the fault. We'll just turn it off now. When you come inside the Bailey, you've got this standard 12-volt control panel. When you select, you can turn the master system off or on, and from there you can then access things like your interior 12-volt lights. You have a separate switch for the water pump, as well as a master switch for the light groups and for the awning light as well. The up and down arrows will give you information as to the condition that's within the water systems, which batteries you're using, interior, exterior temperatures, and the draw and load that are available to you on those batteries. Adjacent to that, you have your electric table control for lowering the table for bed operation. So that's pressed down to lower the table and raised up. Your air temperature thermostat for the Truma system is adjacent to that as well. And then you have a bank of switches for your interior lights, as well as a couple of USB feeds as well. This Bailey Adamo is fitted with the passenger seats into the back. If you want to utilize the bed, you'll need to put everything away. So there's a Velcro strap at the back. Remove that cushion first of all, and then unfasten the base cushion. Turn the lever anti-clockwise, and then you can fold the bed frame back down and close off the locker. For the double bed operation, press the top arrow for a couple of seconds until you see the 2 green lights flash on the bed mechanism. Once they've ceased flashing, you should then be able to lower the bed accordingly. You can set it at the 6-berth layout height, so you can then make up the bed below, or as long as all the cushions are cleared, then you can lower it down to the lowest position, like so. Located at the front of the van, you've got this sensor, which is for the bed mechanism. If material overhanging the bed, such as a duvet or a sleeping bag, obscures that sensor, it doesn't sense that the bed is retracted, and it blows the fuse for the motor. The Thetford 3-way fridge, press and hold in on this left-hand raise button for a couple of seconds, and you'll see some blue lights indicate. At the moment, it's in the automatic mode, which means that it's running where it's self-detecting, which is the strongest supply. You can change the settings by pressing in on this button for a couple of seconds, and you'll see that these indicators start to flash, and you can go through to a pure electric mode, to your vehicle driving mode, or to a gas operation. Having selected that, you can then also adjust the thermostat control as well. The more of the blue lights that are illuminated, the colder the fridge will become. So it's now set onto the gas mode, should automatically ignite and run through in that process. If for any reason it cannot find a setting, so perhaps because the gas is turned off or you're not connected to the mains, or as we'll illustrate here, because the engine battery is not running at the moment, then when you select those settings, it shows a fault light. This will flash for about 10 seconds or so, but it'll also be accompanied by a small red flashing light up here. Check your supply to your gas, to your electric to clear the fault, and then you should be able to continue operating the fridge, putting this example in the mains operation mode. To turn the appliance off, press and hold on the button for a couple of seconds until the control panel goes dark. This is fitted with a Thetford swivel bowl toilet, so you can manoeuvre the bowl into your position for comfort. Open up the wastegate by sliding across the lever. To flush the toilet, press in on the blue button at the back. It draws fresh water from your onboard freshwater supply. Slide your slider over to close off, stop any smells or odours coming back up through. When the cassette is approaching full, you'll see an indicator light come on around here. If you've just changed over the gas supply, then I would always recommend that you purge some of the gas off on the hob. So you turn the knob anti-clockwise, use your igniter to fire up, turn on all of the burners on the hob, and that just ensures a good continuity of supply through to the other appliances. There's no isolators on these lids, so if the lid is brought down over the flame, it will cause the glass to shatter. There are separate controls for the grill. And another one for the oven. If you are connected to the main supply, you have the option of using the hot plate at the back instead. In the cab on the right hand side you have your light controls. So at the moment it's in an off mode, there's a side light and a dipped mode. You can also put it into an automatic setting. You can use the central button for the adjustment of the headlamp beam, front and rear fog lamps, as well as the brightness of the instrument binnacle. To the right of that, you've got the ability to adjust the top half of the electric mirrors. So turn the toggle in and you can adjust accordingly. And then you've got your electric window controls, and then just down on the door, you've got your central locking controls as well. Over on the steering wheel, the right hand side of the stalk is your wiper and the left stalk for your indicators. You've got function controls for the menu operations, as well as your telephony access from the head unit, volume controls, and then your speed limiter and cruise controls that are just onto there. When you start the vehicle, start with your foot on the brake clutch pedal, and then make sure that it's in the park mode, and it can be drawn back through. To reverse, to neutral and drive, there is an ability to use it in a semi-manual mode using the plus and the minus to go back up through and down through the gears sequentially. Ventilation controls are located into the middle, so you have the ability to heat your mirrors as well as using your air conditioning systems. Fan and temperature controls are either side. There is an auto start stop system on this, so when the vehicle decelerates and comes to a halt, perhaps at traffic lights, if there's sufficient battery charge, then you'll find that the ignition system cuts out on you and then will restart when you depress and select a gear. However, if you don't like that system, then you have the ability to turn it off. There are USB ports which go into the media system for the van, as well as a 12-volt socket, and you have a locking glove box as well. So that's the handover for the Bailey Adamo 694. Sincerely hope that you've enjoyed this little presentation from us here at Highland Camper Vans, and this van's going to give you lots of miles and lots of smiles. On behalf of Highland Camper Vans, thank you very much for watching.